This quote already also hints at the other principle, called the world or universal soul, which is the very thing animating all and shared by all living things, which is all things according to Bruno. So the intellect soul nature scheme from Plotinus is clearly here, but is used quite differently by Bruno. In fact, while someone like Plotinus, while he can certainly be argued to have a kind of monistic system, there is a hierarchy of these principles. The one is the highest, which emanates the nous or the intellect, which emanates the soul, which emanates the physical universe. And in a sense, we get further away from the one and the divine, the further down this scheme we go. Bruno, however, once again collapses this hierarchy. In fact, he makes it clear that God, universal intellect, the world soul, and matter are all simply different faculties of one and the same thing, the one substance that is all. The natural extension of this is, of course, that everything has a soul. Not only human beings, as some aspects of traditional theology held, but all animals, from the most intelligent, like us, to the smallest insect, they all have a soul, and indeed the same soul being expressed in different modes. Even inanimate things have life. They are living in some way and therefore also have soul. A rock, a piece of plastic, the concrete out of which modern city buildings are made, it's all alive and it all has a soul. We thus are immortal souls because we are all essentially that one thing that always is and always will be. So how is this possible? Well, when he discusses the nature of universal matter, which is one aspect or faculty of this unified substance, he points out in a quite clever way that because matter, as he defines it, is that per definition which remains regardless of all the changing forms that come in and out of existence in the physical world, it cannot be any of those things in particular. This reminds us of a similar argument offered by the great German Christian mystic Meister Eckhart, who, just like Bruno himself and others like Aquinas, identified God with being. Based on this, he argues that God is distinct by consequence of his very indistinctness. Just like being is indistinct from all things because it is their very being, there is nothing in existence that doesn't have being, it is precisely this fact that makes being distinct from all things, because nothing is so total in its indistinctness and sameness as being. In any case, Bruno thus presents a view of reality that is radically monistic and pantheistic. There is only one thing, one substance, one intellect and principle, which is God. Essentially, this is an intellect or kind of mind that expresses itself within itself and through its different faculties like world soul and universal matter, all of which are, from a certain perspective, one and the same thing. He thus denies the traditional idea of a transcendent divinity standing apart from the world. Nature itself is God. The universe is one. Since all things are one and all things are divine, it is nothing but God expressing God's self. The manifold universe is the unfolding of possibilities in the unity of the divine potency, but in the form of multiplicity and difference. To Bruno, thus, the material world is certainly not some prison, as some Gnostics would argue, or even a dangerous place of fleshly lust, as traditional Christians would. The material universe itself is divine. It is an expression and beautiful manifestation of God himself. The world itself is the beautiful, perfect expression and modes of the divine itself, and matter, far from being some passive evil substance, is that potent divine force itself. Instead, his philosophy is one that is life and world affirming, where we embrace the world for the divine thing that it is. The true philosopher or heroic person seeks to know his true nature. Since we are part of the one substance of all things, we can come to fuller self-knowledge by contemplating and studying the world through reason and our intellect. Thus, human dignity would depend on the distance an individual was capable and willing to go in order to reach the goal of human existence. Consequently, the supreme privilege and duty specific of human beings consists in moving decidedly towards their goal in life. This can be achieved only by those who transcend themselves. However, this transcendence can only be achieved by a frenzied drive toward the true, the good, and the beautiful, in short, by contemplation and love.